Okay, I'm going to be talking about prompt A and B. Starting with A, I'm going to be talking about the gender and family roles, and here are my points I'm going to talk about. So starting off, I just want to say I think that Babu, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, but we're going with it. I think she originally from the beginning was very unhappy in her traditional roles of being a wife and an in-law, especially in their Indian specific culture. She just was not happy, and I feel like the way she was treated was also not happy, which I want to start also off by saying I think it was kind of crazy how her in-laws would treat her really badly, and they were really rude to her, considering it was literally her house and her name that her dad had gotten for her before he died. So I think that's crazy that they even treated her bad to begin with, based on the fact that they were living in her house. But I do think she was unhappy with being a wife and an in-law and a daughter in that culture. And I also think because of her disability with her leg, I just felt like she was always walked all over. And I think because of the way she was feeling, she resulted to praying to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but she resulted to praying. I feel like this honestly was a coping mechanism for her when she started praying. And this is when she kind of started challenging gender roles a little bit. She'd pray and she'd be like, why is it okay for a man to leave his family to be a part of religion and praying? Why is it okay for men to do this but not women? Why can't I do this? It wasn't right. So she was definitely challenging the gender roles there. Lost my train of thought. She was definitely challenging gender roles there. And I think even a prime example of when she was in the street and she got taken by a police officer because she was out with her husband, and her husband reported her. And so I think that was also a prime example of the gender roles as well. And then obviously she was in and out of the mental facility when she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. One thing I thought was interesting is that when she got out, her two children kind of took sides, and the daughter actually kind of sided more with her dad and his family, where her son kind of sided more with her. He would go have dinner with her when he wasn't really supposed to, and he was just kind of there for his mom. And I thought that was interesting, considering the whole outlook of gender roles. You would expect kind of the daughter to go with the mom and son to go with dad. I don't know, that's what I thought, but I thought that was interesting how they were actually opposites. So then after she got out of the mental health facility for a while, as we know, the family lost all contact with her, and she was gone for I think they said it was 5 years. Her kids were getting older, they were graduating high school, they were getting older, and then I think it was a high school classmate, some classmate of Bapu had a sighting of her. No one knew if she was dead or alive, and they had a sighting of her. Sure enough, her son went to go find her at some religious place, and he found his mom, and she had her head shaved, and she was very weak and brittle and kind of confused, didn't know who he was. And then he took her home, and in his lap it kind of clicked, and the mom was like, oh my god, you've grown up so much, blah blah blah. But I think it's crazy that even after everything Bapu went to, she came back. Her son took her back to the family, and sure enough, her husband and his family were all still calling her oh, she's crazy, oh, she's insane, I can't believe she did this. So I thought that was kind of crazy how after everything Bapu went to, she was still treated badly by all of them. Moving on to prompt B of Laura. Here are some points I'm going to touch on about her. So as we know, Laura was first diagnosed with bipolar disorder at a very young age, which we know was misdiagnosed. Anyways, moving on, she was prescribed so many medications from a young age. I believe it was Prozac that she started taking initially, and then in a very short amount of time, her medications, they would just increase in dosage. I think she got up to 80 at one point, 80 milligrams, I believe it was at one point. So in like the short amount of time, she was taking all these different medications, and the dosages were just getting higher and higher. And then from the story, we know that it said that 65% of people who were prescribed these reduced sexual, reduced wanting to have sex. Also, if I don't think I said it, I would be focusing on the effects of sexual function for Laura if I didn't say that already. But yeah, 65% of these people had like lost their sex drive being on these medications. And I think especially for Laura at the age she was going to Harvard, like, I don't know, I feel like that's a time in your life to like kind of explore and meet people and find like your husband maybe. And I felt really bad for Laura because she really felt like embarrassed to like share her thoughts and feelings with her doctor of like loss of like wanting to have like a sex drive. She just kept like thinking to herself, she said in the story, she's like, well, I don't want my doctor to be like, why is she focusing on this? Like, we're helping you with this and treating this, and you're thinking about having sex. So I think Laura felt very like embarrassed and didn't want to bring it up to her doctor. And I thought that was very sad because Laura did have a very like outgoing, loud, kind of flirty personality. Like, she was really fun to be around in a social setting. And there was one example where she got back to this place with this guy, and she said she felt physically disconnected. Like, she just couldn't do it, and she started bawling her eyes out, and the guy's like, whoa, like, what's going on? Are you okay? And, you know, Laura found herself in this situation a lot of the time, which is very, very sad. And I think, like I said, like, at the age she was going to Harvard, like at this age, like, you're exploring, you're finding things, and like her medication, like, yes, it didn't, like, it reduced like how intense her emotions were like feeling, but it also made it hard for her to connect with others, which is kind of what like college is kind of all about in a way. So I thought that was very interesting. And yeah.